Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So my name is NURUL binti JAUZI and my matrix number is 1200106. So today, me and my group mates from group 15, we will be presenting about our topic, which is general and special, and in Arabic it will be Al-Am wa Al-Khas. First, I will present about the introduction of our topic. Comprehending the text in the Quran requires knowledge of the uslub bayan included in the Arabic language with all of its complexities. This section is divided into two parts by fiqh scholars. First, the indication or dilalah of the text on a meaning, which includes Am&Khas, mutlaq, muqayyad, and mushtarak. Second, the indication or dilalah of the text on Islamic law directly. Generally, Al-Am or general specification means a general sentence that have a broad and large possibility of meaning. Meanwhile, Al-Khas or specification generally means a lafaz or sentence that is intended for a particular meaning.
Okay, next. Al-Am, also known as the general. The general have three different types, which is Al-Baqi and Al-Am Umumah, and Al-Amul Muraduhu bil Al-Makhsus, and Al-Amul Mahsus. First, the reminder of its generality, which is Al-Baqi ala Umumah. There was a verse that cannot be assessed takhsis to the specific meaning, as it was meant to be general and was intended to all. For example, from Surah Hud verse 6, which mean, and there is no moving creature in the earth, but on Allah is the sustenance of it, and He know its place of dwelling and its depository. All is in the Kitab al-Mubin, is a clear book. Kullun in the verse 6 from Surah Hud means all of the moving creature. This is including animals and all of the human beings. Okay, next was the general, which is intended to be specific, which is Al-Amul Muraduhu bi Al-Makhsus. In this section, lafaz am with qarina were used to refer to a specific meaning from the general verse. The meaning from a certain verse was not as general, but instead it is intended to be the specific meaning. Based on the example from Surah Al-Imran verse 173, which gave a meaning, those to whom the people said, surely the men have gathered against you, therefore fear them. But this increased their faith, and they said, Allah is sufficient for us and He is the best proxy. From the verse, An-Nas inna nas was highlighted. First, An-Nas was intended to specific to Na'im bin Mas'ud, and the second An-Nas was intended specific to Abu Sufyan.
Next, let's learn about general specification, or in Arabic it is known as Am&Khas. Okay, this is a general verse that has a general utterance. The general context does not require any supporting details from other verse that is likely to be specific or has the potential to eliminate the generality. For example, in Surah Al-Baqarah, verse 228, which means the divorced woman shall keep themselves in waiting for 3 courses, nor it is allowed unto them that they should hide that which Allah hath created in their wombs, if they believe in Allah and the last day. So the word divorced woman refers to al-mutalaqat, includes both, either she is in pregnancy or not. So this is an example of a makhsus, which remains a generality as long as there is no proposition that specifies it. Let's explore what is specification in the Al-Quran, or it is known as khas Al-Quran. Okay, specification in the Al-Quran refers to a specific subject such as Muhammad, a man, a limited number of quantities, people, a nation, or even a team. Okay, this specification refers to the area of categorical, limitation, prohibition, or commands. For example, in Surah Al-Baqarah, verse 43, which means establish prayer and give zakat, and bow with those who bow in worship and obedience. This verse clearly shows that the command to perform the prayers and pay zakat is specifically for Muslims. Therefore, only Muslims are compulsory in performing salat and pay zakat, as it is a part of the 5 pillars of Islam.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. My name is NAJMINA binti ZAHIR. My metric number is 1200145. Today, I will explain about dalalah, lafaz in the verse of the Al-Quran. First of all, let me explain about dalalah. What is dalalah? Dalalah is defined as one of the ways, methods to understand something, Nas Al-Quran and As-Sunnah, which is through understanding the aspect of language. The language used in the Nas Al-Quran and As-Sunnah as a guidance, which mean dalalah, is in Arabic. Meanwhile, there are also opinions that explain the meaning of dalalah, which is dalalah is an expression. In the other word, we know it as ibarat, that refers to a clue from the form of meaning that can be rapidly recognized from it. And it also relates to the order of phrase. Next, we move to the second point, which explain the dalalah in the term of linguistic. Dalalah in the term of linguistic, which the other word we know it as istilah. Dalalah is defined as a meaning in which the word is indicated by the pronunciation. Dalalah also refers to an utterance of the text that leads the meaning of the meaning that can be understood, so that with the meaning can be known the provision contained in the evidence of the text.
Next, we move to another point, which is Islamic scholar has different opinion about the nature of dalalah lafaz which has not been specified for all its units, whether it is dalalah qat'i or dalalah zanni. Imam Ash-Shafi'i expressed his opinion that the lafaz is zanni in it for all the unity. In addition, lafaz after being assessed, which means takhsis, the rest of its units, and also zanni dalalah. Then came a method among the scholars, that is the method of usuliyah, which reads ma min amin illa khusus, meaning every phrase that has lafaz must be assessed, which means takhsis. Shafi'i scholar differs that the appointment of the lafaz to each afrad in particular is zanni because of the possibility of takhsis. Although it is not clear that there is a reason or that is a takhsis, because there are so many takhsis occurs in the lafaz Takhsis also can be occur in most common lafaz so that common lafaz is always in the possibility of being affected by takhsis. And it is also impossible to determine that a phrase is qat'i if it in a state that is likely affected by takhsis. Next, Imam Hanafiyah thinks that lafaz is qat'i from the point of view of dalalah. This continues as long as it does not exist or there are other prepositions that can assess or takhsis the units. This is because the words lafaz is used in a language to refer to all of the units included within it. Hanafi scholars continue to apply the verse generality. It is forbidden for the Hanafi school to assess or takhsis a qat'i verse with a zanni hadith. Imam Malik appears to believe that the Quran generality is a zanni in terms of its outward aspect. Imam Malik has explained that not always the generality of the Quran can be takhsis with the hadith khabar ahad. This is because only sometimes the generality can be assessed, which means takhsis with the hadith khabar ahad. So, in conclusion, dalalah against lafaz has several opinions expressed by the Islamic scholars, especially explaining the verse. The opinion of the scholar differs only when it comes to the nature of demonstration, which means dalalah in the lafaz which has not been specified on its entire unit. This is because the difference between the scholar is whether the lafaz is in dalalah qat'i or in dalalah zanni. So that's all from me. Thank you.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. My name is NADIRAH binti ROSMIDI, metric number 1200139. I would like to talk about khas and takhsis. Okay. First of all, I would like to tell the meaning of khas. Khas is the original form of the verb, implying that language is unique. And in terminology, it is a word that cannot have two or more meanings, implying that the meaning intended by the word khas is specific interpretation of the broad meaning. Alternatively, it is a bias to argue that the term khas is a word that is not biased to acquire two or more meanings without limiting the word's meaning. And then, next, the meaning of takhsis is a kind of masdar derived from the word khasasa, which means particular and etymologically implies to define or specialize, and to shorten the meaning or law of a common word in some units is terminology. It is said to be law with the impression that the job of taxis to decide the meaning of the general statement. It's also worth noting that the assessed defined speech is the meaning that derives from the general utterance, not the phrase itself. The general utterance, which is merges among the utterances examined, is still related in the law's determination. Next, Dalalah Lafaz scholars' opinions. According to the scholars of global fiqh, ijmali nasyara, which is typical with the meaning created, is used in essence, then the word has a dalalah that is qat'i, so that the shown from dilalah, the word is qat'i, not zanni.
Okay, lastly, I will present about the conclusion of our topic. Am and Khas are indeed different in all aspects. Al-Am, or general specification, has a broad meaning without limitation, and it leads to a wide range of probabilities of meaning. Hence, the role or function of the Al-Khas, or specialization, is to specialize or detail the meaning to Al-Am, which has such broad meaning. Even so, the word Khas generally means special or specific. This is because Khas itself is something that has been devoted to it. Looking at the definition of Al-Khas alone shows that this Khas is a pronunciation that has a specific meaning to something like a person's name.